How I hate this question. This is just another example of how stupid these tests can be sometimes. I got this question off an old state assessment question, and what makes this so difficult is they just had to make the grids 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It would have worked fine had they done that, but no, they just want to be a pain in the butt about these sorts of things. Now, the only good piece of news about this particular graph is that they do give it to you in y equals mx plus b form. Remember, y equals mx plus b is the general equation of a line. So in this problem, the slope is 1/2, the y-intercept is 2. So I begin at 2, and I'm going to go up 1 over 2. Now, it looks like I went up a half. The problem is, if I went up a whole box, I would be going up 2. I'd be going from 2 to 4. So I only want to go up 1, which brings me from 2 to 3. And 3 is in the middle of 2 and 4, so I actually only go up to here and then over. And then again, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. Now, up 1 over 2. And you could also look at it as, well, if I go up 1 over 2, I could also look at that, because it's the same kind of thing, as 2 over 4. So if you wanted to do it, you could go up 2 over 4. And it works any way you want to look at it. There is my equation, and I always want to write the equation on it, y equals 1/2 x plus 2. Please don't forget to write the equation on that, because in addition to being stupid and picky about where they put the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and I hope to God they see this to understand that, you know, please, what is the point? It's just ridiculous. Bill Gates, you're an idiot when it comes to this. You have no idea how to educate a kid. Now, I'm going to do y equals x minus 1. Now, the y equals 1/2 x plus 2 was not a difficult one, but this one is very difficult to graph on this. The slope is 1, the y-intercept is -1. So here's the -1. Now the slope is 1. So that means I'm going to go up 1 over 1, 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 which is really up a half over half, up a half over half, up a half over a half. And for some reason, they feel like they are superior test makers to come up with this stupid way of doing things. It would have been better if they would have asked a negative slope, and if they would have also set this so that kids could do each box is equal to 1. Not every kid in the world has the spatial reasoning ability to go up 1 and over 2. All right, so the bottom line is, where do these graphs meet? They meet at the point 6, 5. See, the x is 6, the y is in the middle here, which makes it 5. So they meet at the point 6, 5, and that is the correct solution to this problem. So, question done, rant over. Next question, number 24. A rate of change question. And I'm going to make this smaller so we can see the whole thing at once here. I'm going to go down to 75% because that allows me to see all parts of this particular question. So another name for rate of change, and as much as I hate the previous question, I think this is a really good question. Okay, so let's be fair, give credit where credit is due. They're idiots for the last question. This is a great question, and I took this kind of question from a state assessment test sample they gave out years ago. Look, rate of change, which is what this talks about, and we've said this a million times in class, is the same exact thing as slope. So, y equals mx plus b. What's the slope in this problem? It's 2. So what's the rate of change? It's 2, or if you want, 2 over 1. Please don't put the x. This is the second time we've had to mention this. Some kids put the x, don't do it. Now, by looking at a table, can we see the rate of change? Well, look. This is the x, it's going up by 1s. This is the y's, it's going up by 5, right? From 3 to 8, 8 to 13, -2 to 3, they're all going up by 5. So this slope is 5 over 1 or 5. You don't have to write the or 5 or the over 1s, one or the other. If you just wrote the 2, just wrote the 5, or just wrote the 5 over 1, they're all good. Now we're asking you to reason it by words. Mrs. Moneymaker likes to hunt for jewels. She starts with 5 rubies and finds 12 rubies for every 3 hours. So her rate of change is she finds 12 for 3 hours. 12 over 3 reduces to 4, or 4 over 1, however you want to put it. And the last part was a graph, and I don't remember exactly what the graph was, but I think it was on your paper up 4 over 3. I'm pretty sure that was what the slope worked out to be. So your graph was up 4 over 3. So now the question is, which of these is the biggest number? Is 2, is 5, is 4, or is 4/3? And you guys were very good about this. The correct one is 5. 5 is the biggest, greatest rate of change.